Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me for the Magical Herbalism Mentorship Semester 2. I am the Garden Goddess, otherwise known as 𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒔. I will be your guidance counselor for this semester. Whether you were here with me last semester and the semester before that, or you're brand new here, I just want to welcome you and let you all know that you're in good hands. I got you. I got you. Um, we will be delving into plant spirit healing as well as conjure work over the course of 4 weeks this semester. And so last semester, my intention and prayer was that I would uplift you all with loving guidance and heart-centered work. And that's still my intention this semester, but I want to add a little flair to it. My intention this semester and my goal this semester is to instill wisdom, knowledge, confidence, healthy curiosity and obsession, and a space for you all to creatively thrive and a space for your spiritual gifts to just bloom. And so that is my intention this semester. I'm so excited to share all the knowledge that I have garnered thus far in my spiritual journey in this mentorship. And so this will not only apply to you if you are someone that is in Haitian Vodou and an initiated priestess in Haitian Vodou like myself, but this will apply if you're someone that is just a plant enthusiast, someone that is just into magical herbalism, someone that has a garden, someone that wants to specialize in doula work or herbalism, someone that's initiated into Ifa or hoodoo. All of this is welcomed. All of this is helpful to you on your spiritual journey, no matter what level you're at. And so I want us to hop right in and go over this week's subject matter. And so I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. So just like last semester, I'll be referencing my notes because I have so many to get through today, and I'm very excited to share it with you all. So, with that being said, welcome to the Magical Herbalism Mentorship Semester 2. Today, in particular, we'll be discussing the beauty and divine direction. Now, the beauty and divine direction, this will include learning about the crossroads, why direction is so important in magic, and how this affects our herbs. Now, I had you all read chapter 8 of Working Conjure to give you a rundown of the crossroads. And I specifically wanted you all to focus on this particular page, which is page 82 of Working Conjure. And this is because it discusses the historical value and contents of the crossroads and why it's so important. Now, I really want to give you an idea of why the crossroads have played such a significant role in those of us that are in traditional African religions. And this is because direction is so important in our lives because ancestrally, it determined whether our ancestors lived or died, whether the fruits that our ancestors were growing would thrive or become stagnant and stale. And if we were headed in the right direction towards our safe havens, aka escaping slavery, escaping our brutal masters, if you will. And so before there were iPhones and before there was Google Maps, our ancestors, yours and mine, heavily relied on nature to help guide them to freedom, to land, to water, to animals. And that was through looking at things such as the North Star, looking up in the sky and finding direction in that, as well as having the knowledge of a clock, if you will, such as knowing that the sun rises in the east to let you know that daytime is here, or that the sun is resting in the west to let you know that night is coming. Our ancestors relied heavily on nature and the cosmos to really guide them and give them direction, not only in a physical way, but also in a spiritual and emotional way. And so it is important to know that when we're discussing the crossroads and when we're discussing specifically direction in hand, that we know that direction in itself is magic. And direction is the secret to magic and holds the power you need to manifest, to change, to heal, and to thrive. And so, very few people actually know that the difference between my magic and maybe the next priest or priestess's magic is that I rely heavily on direction because that is my secret weapon. That small detail is what changes your magic from being good to great. And so, why do you think feng shui is a thing? For those of you that don't know, feng shui was, I believe, an Asian philosophy and art of rearranging your space to welcome in energy of prosperity, of abundance, of just overall good energy. And that brings more life to the space. But all of that is solely based on direction. They didn't have to light a candle to change their life. They didn't have to do a 30-day fast for manifestation to occur. All they had to do was incorporate direction into their lives. And so when we understand this, we also can really, we can really lean into the fact that direction and understand that direction opens up portals to protection, prosperity, wisdom, peace, and boundaries. So when we think of direction in magic, we must know that where we conduct our magic matters, and where we face during magic can also aid us in creating successful outcomes for ourselves. But before we go into depth about directions in particular, I want us to first begin with the crossroads, because that's what I had you guys read about. Now, the crossroads have many different symbolic meanings, and that can go from the Greek mythology all the way to a traditional African religion. But for the sake of this course, I want us to understand that when I am teaching you all, I am teaching you all through the vehicle of hoodoo, because hoodoo is based off of the descendants of slaves, African Americans, that are also involved in traditional African religions, because that is my background and that is my reference. And so you will see many different symbolic meanings of the crossroads. But when we're in this course together, just understand that I am referencing the crossroads through the perspective and viewpoint of an African American, of a person that was descended, that was a descendant of slaves, and someone that is in a traditional African religion. So I'm communicating this through the vehicle of hoodoo, right? So the crossroads have many different symbolic meanings, and that is due to region, culture, and religion, as I just kind of gave you all a brief overview of. So for the sake of this course, we will be focusing on the crossroads through an African American viewpoint and through the vehicle of hoodoo. Now, for those of you that may not know, hoodoo is the most common practice among us African Americans and the foundation of most spiritual practices that are taught and learned about in today's 21st century among the African American Black culture. Specifically, if you're in the African School of Magic, the basis and your foundation of learning these spiritual practices is first learned through hoodoo. Yeah. So the crossroads originated from two different African groups or tribes, one being West Africa among the Yoruba culture, and the other being the Congo in Central Africa. Specifically, the Congo cosmogram, which is a spiritual symbolic item that was used in specific cultures. So the crossroads represented then, and they still represent now, life and death, the rising and falling of the sun, a vessel of communication between the physical realm and the spiritual realm, and the intersection between the ancestors and their descendants. And so, depending on what tradition that you are initiated into, you will also find out that the crossroads are governed by specific deities or spirits. Now, will we be talking about those deities and spirits? No, we will not, because that's based off of the tradition that you were initiated in. And most of you aren't initiated into a tradition quite yet, but you will be. And when you do, you will find out what deity or entity governs the crossroads. But after today, as we delve further, my prayer, I hope that you all take away, and when you hear me and other priests or priestesses discuss the crossroads, that you understand that we are talking about one of the most powerful and significant and life-changing locations that you can ever step on. And guess what? It's accessible everywhere and anywhere. And how genius is that? That our ancestors created such a powerful portal and tool that we can reach them no matter where we are, no matter who we are, and no matter where we are. We have that ability to reach them. Now, I know for me, when I was in my first beginning stages as someone that was investigating or being curious about a traditional African religion, I was very perplexed on crossroads because I didn't really know what they looked like. I never really had an understanding, like, well, what is a crossroad going to look like? What is it going to be? And if it's so accessible, where is it? Well, dear, that is a crossroad. It is just by definition a place of intersection of two or more roads. I like to think of crossroads as two roads that are crossing over each other continuously. So that there's a continuous road, a continuous plane, if you will, that crosses over another continuous plane, and that creates this T-like fashion or look. So by definition, a crossroad is a place of intersection of two or more roads. It can also be called a road that crosses a main road or runs across country between main roads. And so that is what a crossroad looks like. It's just two continuous roads that cross over one another. And you have these everywhere because you have a crossroad that has these stop signs for when kids cross the street. You have a crossroad at a stoplight. Most stoplights have a self-created crossroad, and you can utilize this no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. I love going to crossroads that don't have heavy traffic in them. I like going to crossroads that are usually like closer to the mountains or even closer to a cemetery. It feels more sacred and more exclusive, and I just like the quiet nature um, of a really clear crossroads. So this is actually one of my favorite crossroads to sort of see or view. And so when we talk about the crossroads among priestesses, this is what we're saying. This is what it looks like, right? For the sake of this video, um, if we were standing in the middle of this and we were looking around, we would see that we have a road that faces north, a road that faces south, a road that faces east, and a road that faces west. Now, this has significant value because the crossroads, as we just learned, it represents life and death. It represents communication between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. It's an intersection for the ancestors and their descendants. It represents rebirths. It represents the sun rising and the sun falling. But it also represents elements, which we'll talk about next week. And it represents masculine and feminine energy. So it is really important that you know that when we are looking at the direction north, south, east, west, we are also looking at masculine and feminine energy, which is why it was so important that you all watched the previous video that I shared with you, which is Herbs Are Queer, to talk about masculine and feminine energy in more depth, so that you get an understanding of when you're at the crossroads, you are dealing with the positive and negative aspects of both energy, which it can help you in your magic. And so when we are looking at, just for the sake of this video, we're going to say that this is north, right? When we are looking at the direction north, we're looking at positive feminine energy. When we are looking at the direction south of the crossroads, we're looking at negative feminine energy. When we are looking at the direction east of the crossroads, we are looking at positive masculine polarity or energy. And when we are looking at the direction west, we are looking at negative masculine energy. Now, why is this important? Because these energies represent healing, ways we can heal people, hex people, harm people, ways that we can change our life and manifest our life. And so, depending on what direction you utilize in your work, you can call upon this energy to aid you in manifesting change, manifesting healing, manifesting harm for someone else, which is why the crossroads are so important. Because this right here, by just utilizing direction, you can change anything. It's just like saying right-handed or left-handed magic. When you're utilizing north, that's right-handed. When you're utilizing east, that's right-handed work. When you're utilizing west, that's left-handed work. When you're utilizing south, you're utilizing left-handed work. And so if we remember last semester when we talked about herbs are queer and why it was important that we broke down the importance of gender, it's because how we use gender in our magic is what can speed up a process, what can slow it down, what can garner soft, subtle magic or really overt, harsh, and aggressive work. And so we're going to kind of go over the masculine and feminine energy and delve more into why it's so important, specifically through the eyes of the crossroads and through, I guess, the vehicle of crossroads, but then through the perspective of magic. So when we're talking about the masculine energy represented in the crossroads, we're talking about the directions east and west. Now, if you remember in the previous video, the herbs are queer video, I broke down masculine energy and I use myself as an example. And so the easiest way to understand masculine energy is through the eyes and through the perspective of a gender role. Although herbs and magic don't necessarily play within the constructs of our patriarchal society and our heterosexual and normative ways and objectives, the way we can understand these energies better is by looking at them through a gendered role. And so to review, I told you guys, I gave you guys my list of what masculine energy means to me. And it's important that for this video, you also have your list of what masculine energy means to you. You needed the list to have both positive and negative attributes of masculine energy. I broke down the positives right here of protect, provide, persist, and prevail. And then as I sort of delved into each of them more, I also discussed the negative attributes of these things. And so when we're discussing masculine energy within the crossroads, we're looking at polarities, essentially. We're looking at directions, the masculine energy. So this is like this is the line. I need a pen. I need like something continuous. So I have a binder, right? So we're looking at masculine energy in the center. We understand the attributes of masculine energy through our masculine energy list that you and I created for ourselves. But when we're discussing the positive and negative attributes of masculine energy, we're essentially looking at masculine energy through the polarity of something that is good and helpful and can create healing and change, which is a positive polarity, a positive attribute of masculine energy. Or we're looking at masculine energy through a negative polarity, a negative aspect or attribute of masculine energy. And so it's important to know that because when we're incorporating herbs that are ruled by these directions, as you will see, when you look into your herbs and you see these attributes of intentions and what color the herb is represented by in numbers and all these things. When you see masculine energy, which is usually yang, you'll see that in your books or whatever other books you carry, then you'll know when it's saying yang, it's represented by masculine energy, which is what we went over. But then you're going to also see this small thing under it that says direction, and it'll say east or west. And for many, they don't know what that means. All that means is it's talking about the polarity, the aspect of this herb that is either positive or negative. So if you have an herb that is ruled by yang energy, so we know it's masculine, and then you see that it's represented by the direction east, that herb essentially is telling you that I am represented as a positive masculine energy. I reside on the positive polarity of masculine energy. So that means you can use me in a positive masculine way. So I can protect, I can provide, I can persist, I can prevail. That's based off of my masculine energy list that I just shared with you all previously, and I'm sharing again today. Now, when you see this, you can look at your positive masculine energy attributes and say, okay, this herb is represented by east. So these are the positive characteristics of my masculine energy list. And that means that this herb also has those same qualities. Now, if you have an herb that is represented by the direction west, then you know that this herb in particular pulls more of a negative masculine polarity. So the negative attributes of masculine energy. So it can be more stubborn, it can be aggressive, it could be, I wanted to say unhinged, but it could be very tunnel vision, very one set minded, even selfish, guarded, and totalitarian in nature. And so when we're dealing with the masculine energy, specifically through herbs, these are the attributes that you're going to be dealing with. Now, if we're looking at masculine energy through the guides of polarities through the crossroads, so when we look at the crossroads again, and I said that east and west, and we're dealing with masculine energy in this way, when you are disposing of your work, your magical work, you can get very specific in where you drop your work off. So you can go in the crossroads, at night when you're disposing of your magical work, and you can take out your compass in your phone. If you have an iPhone, you have a compass, the compass app. If not, you can go buy a compass. You can open up your compass and you can look and see what direction you're facing when you're dropping off or disposing of your work. Now, if you're doing things such as money magic, for example, you're more than likely using masculine energy. You're using aggressive herbs such as cinnamon, basil, I don't know, maybe coconut, olive oil for sure, bay leaves for sure, barberry bark. If you were in one of my prosperity rituals, then you'll know how powerful barberry bark is. When you're disposing of work that has such energy, such masculine energy that's there to really manifest something quickly, you utilize masculine energy through your enchanting process, but you can also utilize your masculine energy through your disposal work. Does that make sense? That you can get really detailed in your magic by being specific with where you dispose of your work at. And that is by incorporating that energy consistently. So when you are doing your magic and you found the intentions that you wanted to use, you're getting specific with your colors, you're getting specific with your intentions, you've enchanted it, you've lit it, like you're doing the thing, you're doing the damn thing, you're praying a specific prayer, you can be very specific and concise until the very end. And the crossroads encompasses everything. It encompasses masculine and feminine energy, life and death, your ancestors, your Loa, your Orisha, your Egungun. It even incorporates the elements. And because the crossroads encompasses so many different things, that is why it is the number one place to dispose of your magic. That is why it's the number one place that me and other priests and priestesses always say, like, if you can't find the location to dispose of your work that we tell you to dispose of it at. So if you're doing a prosperity ritual with your hugan, or your priestess, or whoever you're doing this work for, and they say, dispose of your work at the river, and you can't find a river, and they say, well, then dispose your work at the crossroads. Don't sleep on the crossroads now. That's a powerful place to dispose of your work, and it's accessible to you, and it's easy to get to. It's okay to dispose of your work at the crossroads because the crossroads encompasses all of that. It even encompasses the water element. So if someone says, oh, dispose of your work at the river and you can't get to the river, you can utilize the crossroads and dispose of it at an area in the crossroads that will represent that water element, which represents that river, right? So, I'm getting ahead of myself. But just to go back to this, masculine energy, which is represented by East and West, encompasses all the good and bad attributes of masculine energy. And so you can incorporate that into your work by facing a specific direction to call in that masculine energy. You can dispose of your work at the direction east of the crossroads, or you can just understand that your herbs that you're using that are represented by these direction carry on those characteristics. Now I'm going to go more into how you can use the crossroad energy without actually having to be at the crossroads, but I just want to go over what masculine energy is within the crossroads and how it's represented by the crossroads, as well as how it's represented in your herbs. So just to go over this one more time before we move on to feminine energy, masculine energy is represented by the east and west direction. So whether you're at a crossroads and you're facing east or west, you can physically see where masculine energy lies at the crossroads. Or if you're at home and you want to call on that masculine energy, just know it's represented by east and west. And if you created your list of what masculine energy is, the positive attributes of masculine energy are represented by the direction east. The negative attributes of masculine energy are represented by the direction west. Now, feminine energy, and we went into how interesting feminine energy is, because it is both left-handed and right-handed, and we live in a time where everyone's using their my notes away. Everyone's using their feminine energy, but they don't know that it also has some, negative traits to it as well. But feminine energy in the crossroads is represented by the directions south and north. So if we look back at the crossroads, if we were standing here in front, we have north, and behind us, we have south. Now, both of these are represented by the feminine energy. North is represented of the positive attributes of feminine energy, and south is represented by the negative attributes of feminine energy. Now, previously, I shared with you my list on feminine energy. I shared with you my acronym called CROWN, which represents feminine energy in a way that it creates, it receives, it orchestrates, aka kind of manipulates energies very, very well, by the way. It's a bit wayward, so feminine energy has a layer of instability to it, but it also has that nourishment and nurturing energy. So in my CROWN acronym, I gave more of a balance of positive and negative attributes of feminine energy. And feminine energy is very, very useful to use, especially if you're someone that is really trying to do healing work, inner childhood work. Now, the aspects of feminine energy and why north and south, which ironically enough, I'm thinking about the Northern Star. Um, the attributes of feminine energy is really, really important to incorporate within your work because you need that subtle work. A lot of people, they like to get aggressive in their magic. They like to get really enthusiastic or overly zealous or trigger happy in their magic. So they want things to work fast, but don't sleep on the subtlety of feminine energy and femininity within your magic. And so these things are represented by north and south. And so how we do this is when you're facing a specific direction, you're calling upon that energy. So if you take out your compass, if you have an iPhone, you take out your compass and you see what direction that you are facing, you can call in that energy for your work. So whether you're doing love work, whether you're doing mental health work, that feminine energy in its most positive attributes or negative attributes can assist you in that way. Now, when you have an herb that is represented by these directions, and I actually kind of want to give you all an example. I have you all have two books that I told you all that was required reading for you to have for this semester. But eventually you all will need this book, which is the Magical Correspondence book, the complete book of correspondence book. And when you look through your book, I just want to give you all an example while I have it here. You will have um, things such as this. You'll have a long list of herbs that are represented by so many different things of the day, the zodiac, the energy, the element, the chakra. The list can go on and on, child. But you'll see sometimes that your herb is represented by the energies of north and south, and those that will tell you that that herb is represented by the positive attributes of feminine energy or the negative attributes of feminine energy. So if obviously if it's represented by north, we now know these are the positive attributes of that herb, which is represented by a positive feminine attribute. If it's represented by south, it's represented by the negative feminine attributes. And so you'll notice that these herbs are very, very consistent. That when you see an herb that is represented by masculine energy, then chances are it's going to be represented by the direction east and west. If you see an herb that's represented as feminine, then it's consistent with the directions north and south. But you'll also see that it's represented congruently in its intentions, and it's aligned congruently with the days of the week that are governed by feminine energy. So if you have an herb that is rose, for example, and the intentions of rose are self-love, empowerment, confidence, lust, sex, desires, all of those are very feminine traits. And then you look to see that rose is represented by yin energy, which is feminine energy. More than likely, it's also represented by the direction north and south. And other deities that govern that herb are more than likely very feminine herbs. Very feminine deities, very feminine energies that walk with that specific herb. And so these things, as you guys can kind of see, as we delve deeper into these herbs, they're very consistent in their behavior and their essence and power. So we talk about negative and positive attributes of feminine and masculine energy. And you'll see people talk about, masculine and feminine energy. But all that really comes down to is these are just polarities. These are all feminine and masculine energies just represented by different moods, different aspects, different attributes, different characteristics of these energies. And so when you hear me say polarities, I'm really good at polarities. I'm talking about I'm really good at understanding where I am to pull energy from depending on what's going on in my life. And so you can be someone that is really, really into hoodoo and you have to do something on the fly and you are having to grab like a thing of ketchup and mustard and you just have a white plate and very little tools. If you're a master at hoodoo, then you're a master at working with what you got. But if you can master polarities, you can also incorporate that into your hoodoo work, because if you know where you are, if you know what direction that you're facing, if you just know the location that you're in, you're able to add a whole nother layer of power to your work by incorporating masculine and feminine energies. And so the compass is extraordinarily important in magic, whether you have a physical compass or you just are really good at directions, meaning you know where you are. But like, for example, I don't know where, I'm not good at directions. I need my iPhone to get to any damn where. Don't ask me for directions, child, because I don't know streets, no nothing. But if you're someone that's really good at that, chances are you'll be extraordinarily well at polarities and you'll be able to use them anywhere, anytime, all the time. And you can incorporate that in your cooking, in your place of rest. You can incorporate polarities and direction in your household. Like my bedroom is always facing east. And guess what east is? Positive masculine energy. I'm doing feng shui, honey, in the most blackety black way, because I don't be studying feng shui, but I can change my whole frequency up in this room by just incorporating directions, and child, so can you. Now, I wanted to get even more specific and sort of break down the magic that you can do by incorporating these directions into your life, and what kind of magic that you can do when you are incorporating directions into your work. So, excuse me, when you are utilizing positivity, when you want to create healing in your life and you want to make positive change, so you're someone that likes to do a lot of right-handed work, then these are the best directions that you can use. You can utilize north, which is positive feminine energy, or you can utilize east, which is positive masculine energy. And so the kind of magic that you can do when you're utilizing positive feminine energy, our energy, our energy, our is magic that assists with your mental health, anxiety, depression, postpartum depression. Um, I want to say bipolar disorder, but I want to be careful when we talk about mental health. Um, but most things regarding mental health you can utilize. You can also utilize positive feminine energy by utilizing it in the matters of the heart. So any sort of love work, relationship work, whether that's friendship, marriage, the relationship a parent has with their children, the relationship that you have with your animals, the relationship that you have with your plants. Positive feminine energy can be utilized to enhance this relationship. Childhood trauma, any sort of shadow work, you can utilize the direction north, which is positive feminine energy, in your childhood trauma work. And so things such as, I know there's like a type of hypnosis that helps with inner child work, by facing a direction, specifically north, while you are doing such deep, intensive work. That hypnosis work, or sometimes there's like a deep meditation of doing inner child work. Facing north while you're doing that work is extremely supportive, and that energy will be very nourishing and nurturing to you during such a time that is exhausting. Doing shadow work can be very, very mentally, emotionally, and spiritually taxing. And so, by utilizing plant medicine, plants that govern yin energy, plants that are based on nourishment as well as incorporating positive feminine energy within the direction that you face while doing that work, is very supportive of change and healing and growth. Also, any sort of beauty related um, magic. So, magic to make you look good, magic to make you look like a bad bitch, magic to make you attract something, whether it's a man, a woman, a job, to make you look enticing, utilizing positive feminine energy as well as a direction north will help create that positive change. Also, anything regarding your crown chakra, or anything regarding your spiritual gifts, utilizing feminine energy, positive feminine energy, will help you enhance those things. And then the list goes on and on. Matters of the home, such as protection, harmony, if you live in a very intense or um unstable or unsettling household, you incorporating this energy, specifically the direction, will help alleviate the stress of a heavily even destructive home. East, which is positive masculine energy, helps with matters of prosperity, business, anything physical. I like to say that when we look at directions, when we are thinking about masculine energy, think of this line as being flat. The horizontal line talks about the physical things in life, the physical things that you can touch, taste, experience, things that you can feel on your physical body. Anything that's in the physical, masculine energy is amazing for. When we are dealing with feminine energy, which is the vertical line in this compass, we are dealing with the ups and the downs. We're dealing with the spiritual realm. We're dealing with the heaven and the hell of our lives. And so anything regarding the things that you can't see but you can feel, the things you can sense, the things that you can resonate with spiritually, this is your feminine energy that you can use, the north and the south. Anything regarding physical matters, a job, your physical body, health, a business, it is really wise to utilize masculine energy for that thing, place, goal, etc., etc. So when we're dealing with positive masculine energy, as I just kind of went over, the horizontal line of our compass, we're dealing with something that's positive, something that's going to create positive change, something that's going to help us in the physical realm. So anything regarding our prosperity, anything regarding money, business, anything regarding making us feel good in our bodies, it's amazing for any sort of physical protection, any sort of like guarding of the home, guarding of our body. Masculine energy is great for, or lighting that heat in our stomach, in our chi, in our body, to get things going, to get things moving, to create lasting change. Masculine energy, positive masculine energy is great for. Now, more harmful directions, things such as left-handed work, things that when you want to create some sort of um no other word other than harm, or if you want to do any sort of spiritual work to seek revenge or repel or anything really that is in your way and you need to get out of your way, you can utilize negative feminine energy and negative masculine energy. So if you're trying to cause someone depression, anxiety, convoluted thoughts, any sort of insecurity, disconnecting them from their ancestors or disconnecting them from their body and trying to make someone out of touch with reality and in a place of disillusionment, utilizing feminine energy to bring hell on earth to someone, you can utilize feminine energy, and by incorporating the south direction in that. If you're trying to harm someone on the physical level, if you're trying to create hell in someone's reality, then you'll utilize the west masculine energy, west direction and negative masculine energy. So you can utilize the direction west to stop someone's bag. You can utilize the direction west to cause discomfort in someone's body, making them feel um, insecure about their body. You can make someone very aggressive in a relationship to where it's off-putting for others to even want to interact with them. You can cause conflict within someone else's relationship. You can cause conflict within someone's relationship with their spirits by utilizing the west direction, or any sort of agitation. You can agitate someone's energy by incorporating the west direction. Now, ways that you can incorporate direction into your magic and into your day-to-day life is by conducting your magic facing a certain direction. That is very, very simple. And it's game changing. It is the key. It's really what has separated my magic from so many others, is by just doing this one thing, which is facing the direction while doing your magic. I face east. I get out my compass and I find the direction east, and I enchant my herbs facing east. I dress my candle facing east. Everything that I'm doing, I'm facing east. I'm even praying facing east while I'm manifesting change. And so you can conduct your magic in a specific direction. You can also pray in a specific direction. I know we associate prayer and direction with people that are Muslim, people that are of the Islamic faith, and that's because they pray in a specific direction to face, I believe it's Mecca. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but they face the direction based off of, I believe, it is this black uh, sort of sphere that resides in their home. And so I also want to get us into the habit of utilizing direction in prayer as people of African descendants, people that are initiated into these specific traditional African religions. Praying in a specific direction is game changer in itself. You can pray for protection and pray facing west to utilize that masculine energy to protect you. Or you can pray for healing and pray facing north to pull on that nourishing and nurturing feminine energy to assist you with your prayer. That is enough. And that is really fucking powerful. I'll tell you that. That's like my secret weapon in that. You can also incorporate direction by placing your candles, your lamps, any magic that you do, you can enhance it even more by having it face a specific direction. So you can place it at a specific part of your house. You know, a lot of people, they like to place their magic outside to get the full moon energy, but you can also place it at a specific direction in your house to pull on energy um, from the crossroads, which is equally as powerful. You can dispose of your magic at a specific direction. So when, like I said earlier, when you're at the crossroads and you're getting ready to dispose of your work, you can take out your compass and see what is north, south, east, west, and depending on the magic that you're doing, you can dispose of it at the specific location that is west of the crossroads, east of the crossroads, north of the crossroads, south of the crossroads, to pull more of that masculine or feminine energy, as well as the positive or negative attributes of that energy, so that you can really get the most out of your work. And finally, you can have your altar face a specific direction, whether it's your ancestor altar or other altars. I'm not going to go into what, but for the girls that get it, they get it. For the girls that don't, they don't. You can have your altar facing a specific direction to call in specific energies or specific ancestral spirits. I noticed that when I first created my ancestral altar, I was pulling on a lot of feminine energy. And that's because I realized I'm putting a lot of feminine energy on my altar. I'm putting a lot of fruits, a lot of flower heads, and the direction my altar was facing was pulling on a lot of feminine energy. So, if you're someone that is looking to have specific ancestors to walk with you, more women, more men, more specific energy, having your altar face that direction can assist you in that process. Okay, time for homework. So for homework today, that will be due next week before class starts. We will have a live class so that you guys can do it in real time with me answering your questions. Or you can do it independently and then present it before our second lecture. But your homework assignment will be to create 3 herbs from your today's health herbal book. Your herbs should focus on sleep, rest, and revitalization. They do not have to be specific. They just have to, they don't have to, everyone does not have to have lavender, child. Y'all all don't have to have lavender, damn it. Just find just find some herbs in the book that you can have access to that will also be in your encyclopedia of magical herbs. You will find 3 herbs that represent sleep, rest, and revitalization. You'll create a loose leaf tea. You will enchant your herbs utilizing the following: the medicinal properties. So if you have your today's herbal health, your today's herbal health is all about medicinal properties of the plants, of almost all plant spirits that you can think of. Today's herbal health has it. You'll find 3. You'll find the medicinal properties of these herbs, and you will enchant them to perform at their greatest value with their medicinal properties. So I like to find herbs that match both the magical intentions that I'm looking for, as well as have medicinal properties that can go hand in hand with creating the change or the healing that I wish to do. And then I enchant it to give it that extra boost. And that's another one of my secrets. I find herbs that are incongruent magically and medicinally to create lasting change, so that I can heal you on both an energetic level as well as a physical level. So you'll find herbs such as lavender in your magical correspondence book, your magical encyclopedia books to be exact. You'll also find the medicinal value of lavender, for example, because I feel like a lot of y'all are going to use lavender. You'll find the medicinal value, the medicinal properties. You will enchant it. You will enchant it utilizing both the intentions that you choose, as well as the medicinal properties. You'll incorporate masculine and feminine energy. Just like last semester, we incorporated masculine and feminine energy. And you will incorporate masculine and feminine polarities. And how you incorporate that is by doing one of the following: steps 1 through 5. You have those options of choosing 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Whether you're disposing of your work at a specific direction, whether you are praying in a specific direction, whether you're facing a specific direction when doing this work, you will use one of the steps that I have given you to incorporate not only the masculine and feminine polarity, which is just the positive or negative attributes, but you'll also be incorporating the masculine or feminine energy as a whole. And if you haven't created your masculine or feminine list, you need to in order to create this tea. All right. So I hope that helps. I almost thought I wasn't recording. I hope this has helped. Once again, welcome to week 1 of the Magical Herbalism Mentorship Semester 2. I hope you all enjoyed this class today. We will be having a live class, not recorded, just for you and I to do our homework assignment together, to answer questions and to commune together. So I hope you enjoyed this class. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to DM me, private message me, or even put it in the group. I would love to see your feedback and answer any sort of questions that you have regarding homework and regarding this lecture. So I will catch you all in the next video. I love you all dearly, and let's have a good semester. Okay, talk soon. Bye-bye.